So boys and girls, we have 2 goals today during our lesson. So Fisher, can you read the first goal?
Can I describe how characters in a story respond to major events and challenges?
How characters respond. So these are our characters in the story. Layla, can you read the green part?
I can retell stories and tell their
Central.
central message, lesson, or moral.
What do you guys think that one means? Tell the central message or moral. What do you guys think? Do stories ever tell us messages or lessons?
Yeah.
Jessup, tell me about that.
Maybe like a what is it called? A fable.
Oh, like we've been talking
I
about.
just looked over there.
Yeah, on our genre chart, we were talking about fables. That their whole job of a fable is to teach us a lesson. So, guys, I love that Jessup said that because look up here at my chart. I made this chart to help us remember the characters because it's been a little while since we read the story. So, this is kind of like a fable. This is a folk tale. So, a folk tale is a story that's handed down over time. Remember how we talked about the Native Americans and how they used to sit around their fires and tell stories? So this folk tale is from Africa. And so people in Africa would sit thousands of years ago and they told some version of this same story. And eventually somebody wrote it down and put it in a book. And that's how we got the book. That's why a lot of times when you see something that's a folk tale, it'll say retold by, and then it'll say the name of the author. So this is a name of a person from Africa who invented this story based on a folk tale that he heard from his grandparents or somebody in his family. So stories that are told out loud are really exciting, and a lot of times they're really old, and they teach a lesson. So I'm wondering, first of all, before we try to figure out the lesson, let's look at our paper to guide our discussion. So would you find the part on the paper that says challenge faced? All right, so we're looking at the characters Donzo, Bamba, and Rabbit. And I'm wondering what kind of challenges Donzo faced in this story. Who would like to talk about Donzo, the hunter? Let's just retell the story a little bit. What happened first?
Donzo.
Open your book if you need some support.
I think I remember.
Okay, Fisher, you were saying? So tell me about kind of the beginning here.
So like Bamba and his family were trying to crawl away from the pond. I don't know why. It's kind of weird.
Does anybody want to respond to Fisher? Why were the crocodiles not in the pond?
A pilgrimage.
Yeah, they were on a pilgrimage, and I think they got tired on their way back. Let's turn to the next part. So they meet up with who, Layla? Who do they meet up with? Who do the crocodiles meet up with at the beginning here?
Donzo.
Yeah, and what happens when they meet up with Donzo? They ask him to do something. Do you guys remember what they asked him to do?
No, I do.
Let's give Layla some thinking time. So they're like, oh, Donzo, Donzo, help us, help us. What did they think? What are they asking him? Would you like a friend to help you out?
Yeah.
Who would you like to help you out, sweetie?
Well,
Bella. Do you remember?
the crocodiles wanted to go back to the river.
Yeah, they're like, take us back to the river. And Layla, this is funny. Why doesn't Donzo want to take them to the river? Oh, I bet she knows. What does he think is going to happen?
The crocodile.
What do you think the crocodile's going to do to Donzo?
What do you like eating?
Gonna eat him.
Yeah, he thinks he's going to eat them. So they have this whole argument, right, Jessup? And I'm turning to the page. This is funny. The crocodiles are the ones who say what? How do they get him to, how do they talk him into putting them in the river? Do you remember?
Because they were saying, no, I promise I will not eat you.
Yeah. Oh, I promise. I would never eat. We're just so tired. Okay. So now, were you suspicious of the crocodile all the time? Were you suspicious that Bomba would really eat the hunterman? So Bella, what happens when they get in the water?
They want to eat Donzo.
Yeah, and this is the part, turn to the next page where the bull is, or the cow. This is the part where all the animals and the forest kind of chimes in. So now here's the crocodiles, and here's the hunter in the water. And what did the forest animals start talking about, Fisher?
How the crocodiles were mean to everyone.
Yeah, well, who else was mean? What did they think about the hunter? Did they have anything to say, Bella?
Well, he's been doing bad things to them.
So, Jessup, tell us more.
Like they were saying, like the tree said, like it grew oranges, and then they just picked the oranges off, and then instead of repaying them, they just cut their branches off and stuff and then they take their baby eggs and stuff, like the chicken and stuff.
So, what's Jessup trying to say? What do you hear Jessup saying, guys? Fisher, what did you hear Jessup saying just then?
He said the tree, they were taking things off from and off of other things, and it made wildlife kind of sad.
That reminds me of how we've been talking about ecosystems in our unit, and we were talking about how everything is interconnected, and we were talking about littering. Remember that? What did we say happens when we litter?
I know.
What do you think, Layla?
It dies.
So do you think people can be responsible for things really going wrong in nature? So none of the animals really wanted Donzo, the hunter, to come out of the water. What did they want? What did they decide he needed?
To get eaten.
Yeah, they wanted him to get eaten. They were like, forget it. You don't deserve a second chance. Okay, so let's turn to the next page. And then we're going to see if we can find where our final character comes into the story. Okay, so
Rabbit?
yeah, so who would like to tell us about Rabbit? Jessup, would you share?
You would think that the hunter man was the one who was getting tricked, but actually, the crocodile gets tricked in the end because the rabbit tells him to put the crocodiles back on his head and bring him home.
So in the end, the rabbit, tell us more about that, Bella.
Well, the rabbit said, don't eat Donzo, and he was the smartest animal that
Ever lived?
said don't eat Donzo.
So the rabbit really ends up saving the day. The book doesn't say why the rabbit decides to save the hunterman. What do you think? It's kind of hard to know because he didn't have anything good to say about him. Jessup, do you have any ideas?
I wonder if the hunter man even did anything to the rabbit.
Maybe he never did anything bad to the rabbit? That's
Yeah.
an interesting idea. So the huntermen never thought about animals and how important they were. Now I want you to turn to where the sticky note is, okay? Okay, so we're gonna whisper read this page right here, and then I want you to look up at me. Let me hear you reading. Okay. A new problem has just been introduced into the story. What's the new problem, Bella?
Donzo's wife is ill.
Okay, so how do they solve this final problem, Jessup?
Well, the antidote to to like save her is crocodile tears.
Okay, so in the end, what happens is that the crocodiles and the huntermen are both spared. Now, does Donzo change?
Wait. Yeah.
How does he change? He turns into this person that his wife is sick and the crocodiles helped him. So he starts to think about his life a little bit. What's he thinking? What do you think the lesson is that he learns in the end?
Not to do bad things to the nature.
Take care of nature. Okay. Anybody else want to add more to that? If I had to think of one or two words for what the theme of the book could be, what could that be? So thinking about our core values, what core value do you think Donzo might have shown in the end that he didn't have before? Ooh. You got one?
Empathy?
Yeah, totally. You were going to say that too, Jessup? So empathy is something that came out in him at the end. So sometimes when I'm trying to figure out a theme, it helps me to think about how the characters changed or actions of the character. And you guys totally were able to find that today. Give yourselves a 1 second party.
Oh yeah.
That was a terrible 1 second party. Try that again. 1 second party.
Oh yeah.
You did a great job. That was really fun to talk to you about theme today. Would you hand me back your books? Good job, guys. That was fun. Was that better than writing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think we learn a lot by talking to each other? Yeah. I was noticing that when Jessup was talking, Fisher's face went, that just made me think of something.